Code Fun Podcast Network.
This podcast is brought to you by our friends at Linode. Whether you're working on a personal project or managing your enterprise's infrastructure, Linode has the pricing, support, and scale you need to take your project to the next level. Get started on Linode today by going to linode.com/sustain. Hello and welcome to Sustain Extensions. Sometimes when the microphone stops, we don't. Here's all the stuff that didn't make it in the first time. Enjoy. Your black tie thing did succeed, by the way. You got 75,000. I was a backer.
It did, and that's it. Well, but here's the funny thing: Font Awesome 6. Basically, everything we ever failed at before wasn't because we weren't right. It was because we built it all in the wrong order.
Yeah.
Everything that we failed at before, we're just rebuilding in different ways now because we know that stuff's useful. Heck, we still rely on our own internal products. It used to be called Fonticons. Now it's Fort Awesome. And don't get me into why that was such a stupid rename, but that's a whole other deal. We use that. I
literally have a shirt. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. So those are, I still love that logo, that little star.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
Tom was just like, here, take this. I'm like, okay, cool.
Those don't exist. Also, that's an American Apparel shirt, which isn't made anymore.
Wow.
Those are, I can't find a cotton shirt that feels like that anymore anywhere on earth.
I use it for running. Speaking of running, how did you lose 50 pounds?
It's about a year and a half ago. Turned 40. My wife and I were both pretty unhappy with kind of where we were health-wise. And so we started doing CrossFit. So CrossFit 3 to 4 times a week. After a year of that, I was much healthier than I've ever been before, but I was down maybe 8 pounds, which didn't even make up for the 10 pounds I gained within a month moving from Boston to Arkansas. It's just a sedentary culture. It's a sedentary culture where it's hard to eat well. The culture is not that there is healthy food, easy to eat, and so you can't without even more work.
Yeah.
So CrossFit was much healthier. Wasn't where I wanted to be in my weight, and so I tried out something called Stronger You, which is basically a form of the don't eat so damn much diet. Except instead of it being, just measuring caloric intake, it's you're worried about macros, carbs, fat, and protein. And I used to think that, obviously carbs aren't the thing that make you full. And I used to think, fat, that's what makes you feel full. And fat does a better job than carbs. But it turns out that it's protein that makes you feel the most full. So basically the diet, it comes with a nutrition coach. And this is the key for how it works. The reason it works is because there's someone else there to help you when you don't know why something's happening or you're getting antsy. It's like, oh no, I'm up this amount today. It doesn't make any sense. Be like, no problem. Here's why. Or write it out, keep doing it, do the work. This does work. And that coach is so, so, so important. But it's also based on what I like to call science, including the second law of thermodynamics. I like to call it that. That's what I call it. And, and it is, if your body takes in fewer calories than it uses, you will lose weight, right?
Yeah.
And so any diet, not really a diet, any way of eating, I'm not on a diet. This is how I eat from now until I die, right? That's what this is, right? And it's not a religious thing because it's not, I can't eat anything. I can eat anything I want. It's about the amounts and it's about the kind of the ratios of those things. So basically ends up being 33% for each one of those, carbs, fat, and protein by calories, 33 each is a really, really good balanced way to do it. And then I just kept doing it, put in the work. I decided that I would take a cheat day when science takes a cheat day. When science doesn't apply anymore, then I'll take a cheat day. But it turns out you can eat whatever you want. You just can't eat as much of it. So I refer to it as the donut diet. For about a month, I was having 2 very sizable donuts every single day because I'd gotten so good at eating very high protein, low fat, low carb foods that I just fit it in, right? Like that's the really cool thing about this diet is you decide what's important to you, you put that in first and you build everything else around it and make it work. And when you go get it, and this is what's fun about being a nerd, right? So I go to grocery stores, walk down aisles, and I study nutritional information, carbs, fat, and protein. This cereal says it's high fiber. Oh, that's a total, utter, and complete lie. No, it's not. No, it's high in carbs, like all cereals. Oh, that one has 3 times as much, and they both build themselves as fiber. Okay, right? So the amount that food lies to you about what it is, go look at a granola bar, right? Oh, this is a protein granola bar, right? And I guess it is compared to 0 protein, But no, that's a fat bar. That is 70% calories from fat. And if that's what you want, sweet, right? If you know that's what you're doing, that's the trade you want, great, right? I don't think there is evil and good food. There's not evil foods. There's not, these hero foods, right? There's just food, and there's the stuff that we like. What makes this work for me is that I can eat what I want. I can eat stuff that I like, right? I because I'm a nerd, because I can min-max this whole thing all day long, right? Like in D&D, I'm a total min-maxer. I'm just going to play that way. And so that's the way I play this diet too. And like I said, it's not a diet. And so combined between my wife and I, since we started working out and doing Stronger You, we are down a combined 100 pounds between the two of us.
That's awesome.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that means that percentage-wise, she is kicking my...
Yeah.
Do
you do the monthly plan or the single payment?
At first I did. I think they don't do monthly. They only do quarterly now, I think. Because if this isn't a business where free trial can work. You're not going to see it unless you do it, right? And this is where a $sign on a product is the right barrier to have. If this were free, people wouldn't appreciate it as much, right? And so in some ways, for this to work, it needs to be at least a certain amount expensive for that individual, right? This needs to be something that you're like, okay, that's $400 for 3 months. That's $130 a month. Okay, I got to be serious about this. Okay, and what am I trading? Well, that's a lot. Compared to nothing, that's too expensive. Well, what if this is the thing that allows me to be healthy the way I want to be healthy? Yeah. Oh, okay, then that's actually cheap. If maybe I can, it's not so much about extending the years of your life. It's about taking the ones that you have and making them better, right? Yeah. Dear God, the fact I could pick both my kids up and curl them, right? I did the first pull-up of my entire life. In my entire life, I was a skinny rail as a kid, and I could run like the wind, right? But my first pull-up of my life was last September, and I can now do like 30 in a row.
That's awesome.
So it's amazing how much the easiest way to do a pull-up is not getting stronger. It's losing weight. That's far less effort, it turns out.
Did you know Segment has an open platform for customers and partners to build on? That's in addition to Segment's extensive list of over 300 pre-built marketing and analytics integrations. Segment's customer data platform democratizes access to reliable data for all teams and offers a complete toolkit to standardize data collection, unify user records, and route customer data into any system where it's needed. More than 20,000 companies like Hinge, Glossier, Instacart, and PagerDuty use Segment to make real-time decisions, accelerate growth, and deliver compelling user experiences. For more information, visit segment.com. I had an interesting conversation with myself this morning that was similar to this, where I was sitting and meditating. I've been doing it every day since Sunday for an hour in the morning. Yeah. I go find somewhere to sit in nature and I kind of bird watch, but that's okay. As long as I'm noticing that I'm bird watching, it's fine, right? It counts for me.
Meditation takes so much more mental effort than anything else. It's so much mental.
Yeah. But I realized I didn't want to do it this morning. I don't know why. I was just in a surly mood, and I was watching that surly mood and just sitting with it. And I realized, why am I doing this? An hour every day is too much. I need to do work. That's 60 hours over the next 60 days that I said I was going to do this. Why would I give up 60 hours just because, Naval Ravikant, a guy I don't even know, said do 60 hours in the morning? And what do I care about this guy? I disagree with some of his views anyway. And then I was like, well, actually, that's the price you have to pay to get better meditation. You have to put in time.
Well, I heard it put this way. Granted, it was about prayer. It was about prayer, which is just another form of meditation. Yep. And they said, I've got so much today I've got to do. I'm so busy. So I really need to do it.
Yeah. And that's another one.
All this stuff done. How else am I going to get it all done unless I'm in the place that I need to be?
Yeah, but for me, it's a trade-off, right? It's you're putting in the time now, and yes, you can't just do it every other week for an hour. You have to do it every day, even when it sucks, because otherwise you won't get to the accumulated benefits over time. You won't get to, there has to be a price cost. Last night I was at a book group with someone who says that she's I know this book group because she's friends with a friend of mine, and they have a thing where every single week for a year, they meet for 2 hours on Wednesday night to just talk about religion and how they're doing and spirituality and meditate. A year. And they made it that long because it's so easy in our society to have one-off video calls or one-off groups, and you can come if you want. No, if you're going to be in this group, you have to commit.
In. Oh, you're in. Yeah, no, the only way that works is if you get people who are like, oh, well, maybe I'll come and maybe, no.
No. You're in for a year or you're out.
If you're not in, go, right? If you can't say I am in, then get out, right? Commitment is Well, and that's what's fun about the third book, especially actually all of the Sanderson Words of Radiance or Stormlight Archive novels. They're about oaths, right?
Yeah.
They're about keeping your word. And it's funny when a magic system, like the words that you say, you are bound magically to them somehow now. What if the real world works that way too?
Which is funny. I mean, we were joking on the chat bar. We should make this a bonus episode, but I really think that this also applies to open source, right? Putting the license on it is making... Go ahead, Justin.
I wasn't joking.
Okay, yeah. Well, now we're doing it. So open source is all about putting your money where your mouth is. I mean, the license is just a text file. It's just a freaking text file. You can delete it in a minute and it's not there. But because of our legal system and because of the expectations that come with open source, it means something. And what it means is like, this is stuff that's publicly available for anyone. And so once you make that commitment that like, this is going to be public and this is how it's going to be. And if I want to relicense it, I have to ask every single one of my contributors, is this okay if I privatize it? You have a much stronger community because everyone's in it together with you and they all know that you publicly made this commitment and you're able to just run with it. I wish that was more eloquent, but I hope you're all hearing and seeing what I'm trying to get at there, where the commitments we make to each other and help make things stronger.
Being people of our word. There's one way to always be a person of your word, and that's never to give it. The way that really means something, though, is when you give it and you back it up, even sometimes when you don't want to, right? We live in a world that likes to talk an awful lot about self-care. And that's really, really important, right? There are a lot of people who don't take care of themselves well enough. But the truth is, that's not most people I know. Most people I know take care of themselves well before they take care of anybody else or think about or worry about anybody else. The truth is, I think the way to the best self-care is other care. When you worry about others, you think about them and try to do that first, you end up in a weird way taking care of yourself. Some of the most important things in life, you can't just go after. Humility is my favorite example of this. If you want to become a humble person, you can't just try to be humble. That's actually just pure arrogance, right? The more that you think about yourself, the more arrogance is produced, right? The only way that you are humble is by not thinking of yourself at all. And it's not something you can do by going directly after it. It's not like science and math, right? Where if you work on a problem harder and harder and harder and go straight at it, that wall will eventually crumble and you will figure it out. Most of the really important things in life are the kind where to get them, you can't go straight after them. You have to go in this weird circuitous route that seems unintuitive to start with. But then after you do it, you realize that was always the straight line to it.
How does that mesh with you have to believe the thing before you can make the thing? Because it seems like those are somewhat contradictory.
Yep. Right. And it's possible, like we all, it's possible to put your faith into something that doesn't exist and can't ever become to exist, right? That's not necessarily a problem, right? That's not necessarily a problem in the end. If everything you're doing to try to build that thing, to see it become a reality, if you're doing it the way that you think is right to begin with, there is no such thing as failure. Because along the way, you are developing and growing in the direction that you want to become as a person. So there is no such thing as failure. The way not to worry about failure, this is the truth of how can someone go out and fail things all the time and it not like eat your soul alive? It's because that thing can't be your identity. That thing can't be the thing that is most important about. And if you can figure out a way for something else to be more important about you, if you can find the right thing to be of most importance in your life, a lot of other things sort themselves out.
Awesome. I just found awesome. But Dave, so good seeing you. So good.
Good to see you too, man. I really wish I'd gotten to see you when I was in LA. Next time we're out there.
Next time we'll go get Egg Slut and be happy. All right. Cool, everyone.
Egg Slut it up.
Egg Slut it up. For those who don't know, it's this like really popular thing in downtown LA. And Dave and I waited like, I think 30 minutes you have to wait like 30 minutes to get it. So
that goes back to
wait for good things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All right. Let's end this episode here. Thank you for the bonus episode, Dave. Thank you for being such an awesome person. Take care and prosper, and don't do the thing that's really important, but do everything around it, and the thing that's important will happen also. And yes, Vulcan.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Later, guys. See you guys. Thanks for having me, guys.
Take care, y'all.
Peace.
See ya. Bye.
Later.
This podcast is brought to you by our friends at Linode. With 11 data centers worldwide, including their newest data center in Sydney, Australia, with enterprise-grade hardware, S3-compatible storage options, and their next-generation network, Linode delivers the performance you expect at a price that you don't. Get started on Linode today by going to linode.com/sustain.